Hashtag Stop Galamsey now.
Let the water flow. I will speak to him directly. President John Dramani Mahama. Yellow blood do.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. It's live on Joy 99.7 FM. It's 103.9 FM here in Accra. We're also live on Love 99.5 in Kumasi, myjoyonline.com and affiliates in all 16 regions of Ghana, including Kekeli FM Ho, Bishara Radio Tamale, KTU Radio Koforidua, Oil City Radio, Takrady and ATL FM in Cape Coast. Also live on X Spaces, Facebook and YouTube. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing dreams. This afternoon, well, as Ghanaians prepare to observe the annual 31st December crossover, questions arise over the country's readiness to manage the large crowds expected at church auditoriums, sports stadia, event grounds and open-air centres tonight. In less than 24 hours, COVID-19 levy officially gets scrapped. Effective VAT rate reduces from 21.9% to 20%, while water and electricity see a 15.92% and a 9.86% increment as government begins a year of major policy reforms in 2026.
Speaker, COVID levy will be abolished. The effective VAT rate will be reduced. The punitive cascading effect of the GET Fund and NHIS levy will be removed.
Well, we'll tell you about the major government policies that kick in from January 1 and what to expect for the year 2026. Also, new study has revealed that cassava grown on reclaimed mining lands contain unsafe levels of cyanide and lead, raising concerns that staples like fufu, konkonte and gari from such fields could be compromised, with the possibility of causing cancer and neurological diseases.
We are spreading contaminants across.
So if somebody consumes it, these free radicals can cause cancer, neuropathy diseases or neurodysfunctioning.
In sports, the group stage of AFCON 2025 concludes today with 3 places families with missing relatives to help identify unknown patients currently in its care as the facility faces increasing difficulty accommodating such cases, with many of the unidentified individuals suffering memory loss, following accidents or other medical conditions.
But at times it can go as far as 12. So we've had, like my nurse said, people who have stayed here actually for 2 years.
And if you missed the 2025 Joy FM 90s Jam, here's what went down as we gear up for the 2026 edition this Friday.
Yeah, that is what I'm talking about. We're really living all the fun.
Well, you can't miss that this Friday. These and more with me, Maame Esi Nyamekye Thompson. This is Joy News, independent, fearless and credible. Please stay.
Too much.
As New Year's Eve approaches, Ghanaians are set to gather in churches and other venues to pray into 2026. With large crowds expected, concerns are growing over the country's ability to manage the crowd, especially after the recent Elwak Sports Stadium stampede. My colleague Gemma Apia looks ahead at the potential risk to public safety tonight.
Ghana's record with large gatherings has exposed serious crowd control weaknesses. The 2001 Accra Sports Stadium disaster, which killed 126 fans due to blocked exits and panic, remains the deadliest in Africa. Other incidents, including stampedes at political rallies, concerts, church events, and the Elwak Sports Stadium military recruitment exercise, which left 6 dead, show the risks extend beyond sports. Common issues include overcrowded venues, limited emergency access, insufficient trained security, and poor crowd communication. With thousands expected at stadiums and church conventions nationwide, the high emotions and excitement of crossover celebrations heighten the risk of surges and accidents if strict safety measures are not enforced.
Gemma Apia with that report. Well, already the crowds have started gathering with scores already at the Accra Sports Stadium days ahead of the crossover session tonight. My colleague Michelle Latte was there to interact with some of the worshippers yesterday. Here's her report.
As we wrap up on the year 2025, troops of people are converging at the Accra Sports Stadium to give thanks unto the name of the Lord, to bless him for how far he has brought everyone. Everyone is here. Some say to receive their prophecies, some to receive miracles. We spoke to some Ghanaians on grounds, and this is what they had to say.
This year I'm expecting God to do a lot for me. That's why I'm here. In fact, I'll even sleep here to the next day. So I'm expecting a lot. This year, blessings, long life and prosperity for all Ghanaians and across the world.
I'm expecting to hear God more and to have a seeing eye. 2025 have been good to me. Yeah, that's why the beginning was not that all right, but the ending was full of celebration.
We are feeling very good. You can see everybody celebrating. It's about Christ, you know. It's about Christ. Yeah, today we are waiting for the man of God. You know, today is going to be a great day. It's going to be miracles upon miracles, signs and wonders. So everybody's here. I'm here with my expectation. And I know before I will leave here, I'm going with my expectation.
I'm expecting that the Lord God will bless everyone in Ghana so that we shall be more blessed than this year, the whole year that is going.
With praise, with worship and thanksgiving, many Ghanaians are coming here to make sure that they end the year well. Going into 2026, some are optimistic that the year is going to be good. For Joy News, Michelle Latte.
Well, we'll be getting more on security arrangements in the country later in subsequent bulletins. In Takoradi, Takoradi-bound drivers at the Kaneshie bus terminal blamed the shortage of buses and long commute times on terrible roads riddled with potholes as well as heavy traffic congestion around the terminal, with many travelers still trying to get home in the final days of the holidays and the end-of-year celebrations. After spending most of the year in Accra, the pressure on transport services remain high. There's more on the following report.
As the Christmas festivities wind down, Takoradi-bound travelers at the Kaneshie bus station are heading home after spending much of the year working in Accra. They return with smiles but also frustration as they endure never-ending queues at the terminal and prepare to endure the longer than usual trip home.
So we've closed the day's work, the year and then work, and I have to go and see the family in Takoradi.
With the year drawing to a close, I'm heading back to Takoradi from my job in Accra to reunite with my family and share the joy of the festive season together. I'm traveling to Takoradi today. It's my hometown where I reside and run my business.
For drivers, this is cash season. Compared to last year, buses are fuller, queues are longer, and trips are coming faster than expected.
Compared to last year and even earlier ones, we've seen far more travelers this season, especially around Christmas. Business has boomed this year.
Bus terminals are packed, but buses are few. The General Secretary of the Kaneshie Takoradi Drivers Association, Pakwesi Roxon, says bad roads are to blame. Long delays, endless return trips, and potholes that sometimes burst tires.
This year, we have observed a massive influx of passengers at the station compared to previous years, particularly during this Christmas rush. They are everywhere. Some even sleep over at the terminal if they miss their bus. The Kaswa to Winneba Junction stretch, especially around Liberian Camp, is in terrible shape due to ongoing construction, causing endless headaches. It has affected most of our buses, leading to frequent breakdowns on return trips. Several others are in the workshops right now for repairs. Without these poor roads, drivers could make multiple round trips daily, clearing the long queues and keeping things moving smoothly.
So even as passengers rush home to family, the journey is slowed by broken roads and stalled buses. For Joy News, Evelyn Ampa and Mavis Kabukwa's reports read to you.
Well, in less than 24 hours, major government policies from tax systems to education and ensuring your safety on the roads will kickstart. Top among these policies is a sweeping tax reform that abolishes the COVID-19 levy, consequently reducing the effective VAT rate from 21.9 to 20% from January 1, 2026. Aside from this, there's however going to be an increase in water and electricity tariffs as part of the multi-year tariff adjustment approved by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. James Aveji took a look at the key policies in the following report.
The John Mahama government will begin the second year of its second term with a raft of tax reforms as announced by Finance Minister Dr. Kassiel Atuforsen in the 2026 budget presentation in Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, COVID levy will be abolished. The effective VAT rate will be reduced. The punitive cascading effect of the GET Fund and NHIS levy will be removed. VAT flat rate will be removed, and a unified VAT rate will be implemented. The VAT registration threshold will be increased to exempt small and micro businesses, and compliance will be improved through public education, awareness creation, and the introduction of fiscal electronic devices will be deployed.
Following the passage of the tax reform bill, the much talked about COVID-19 levy, which was described by the NDC in opposition as a nuisance tax, stands abolished effective Thursday, January 1, 2026. This will consequently reduce the effective VAT rate from 21.9% to 20%, resulting from the decoupling of the GET Fund and the NHI levy. Beyond the tax cut, water and electricity will, however, see a 15.92 and 9.86% increment respectively. Elsewhere, no broken down vehicle is expected to stay on the road beyond an hour as the government seeks to implement a swift towing of all sport vehicles under the amended Road Traffic Regulations Act to improve road safety across the country. In education, government will also begin the implementation of free tertiary education for all persons with disability. The question, however, is how the John Mahama-led administration intend to use these interventions to expand Ghana's economy and better the lives of citizens in 2026 and beyond. James Aveji, Joy News.
Also joining me is Kofi J of our research desk here. Kofi, so what do these reforms mean for the market?
Well, so Maame, if you look at individuals and businesses, according to government, the rationalization of the VAT and then also the scrapping of the COVID-19 levy is expected to put about 5.7 billion cedis back into the pockets of individuals and businesses. So essentially for individuals, the current VAT system will mean that if you purchase every 100 cedis worth of goods, you are paying around 21 cedis and 90 pesos as VAT or tax. With the reformed or the rationalized VAT, which that will mean that you are simply going to pay 1 cedi 90 pesos less per every 100 cedis worth of good that you buy. The expectation is that this also projected to cost government a lot in terms of revenue. And according to the IMF estimations, the rationalization of the VAT system is expected to cost government about 5.3 billion cedis in revenue loss. The government believes that through rationalization, through compliance, and then the revocation of the exemptions, VAT exemption on imported products, about 349 or 347 products will also help government to close that gap. So essentially, government is expecting about 1.6 billion cedis in compliance and an additional 1.68 billion in the removal of the exemptions of some 349 items which are imported. So in terms of the net, the rationalization versus what government is hoping to do, the estimation is that government is expected to add about 158 million Ghana cedis to its tax revenue. But government is banging its hopes on compliance and then also the exemptions that they are removing on 349 products.
Right. Thank you very much, Kofi J. He's head of our research desk here at Joy News. Still on the economy, government has made an early payment of a $709 million Eurobond. A move officials say strengthens the nation's fiscal credibility and ongoing economic recovery. In a statement released on Wednesday, the Ministry of Finance confirmed the payment was processed on December 30 ahead of its due date. Finance Minister Dr. Casey Olato Forson described the settlement as a critical milestone in Ghana's debt management strategy. And Caleb Zibling, also from Joy News Research, joins me in the studio with more on this. So Caleb, how does settling this amount ahead of schedule impact Ghana's debt sustainability?
Yes, Maame. So you remember that in 2022, the government of Ghana defaulted in its external debt. And then after that, there was some restructuring, and the government decided on a payment plan moving ahead. So if you look at that payment plan in 2025, that's this year, the government was supposed to pay about $700 million as Eurobond debt servicing.
Right.
But then this year, if you add all the payments made so far, they've done $1.4 billion. So the current payment, which we are reporting today, of $709 million, is actually for next year.
Oh, okay.
And if you look at the payment for next year, you are supposed to pay about $1.3 billion. So the government paying $700 million now means that next year, the government will have to pay about $600 million as debt servicing for the Eurobonds.
Right.
So that's savings on the government side. But then if you look at for the past few days, you see the exchange rate is doing very well. And when we are paying our debt, the finance ministry takes CDs to the central bank.
Right.
The central bank uses the dollars they have to pay our debts. So now that the CD is doing very well against the dollar, from about 12 CDs now we are doing 10.4.
Yeah.
It means that the government has saved so much money in CD terms,
Yeah.
which is why the government might decide to pay, okay, we have enough space now. That's why they're deciding to pay the $700 million this year
Ahead of time. Right. Thank you so much, Caleb, for that. Now to food. A new study by researchers from the Koforidua Technical University and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has uncovered dangerous levels of cyanide and lead in cassava grown on reclaimed gold mining fields in Paming and Jadam. The discovery raises an unsettling irony. The same cassava that ends up as steaming bowls of fufu on countless Ghanaian tables could, under the wrong conditions, pose serious health risks. Josephine Sega reports on the potential threat to one of Ghana's most cherished staples.
Illegal small-scale mining, known as galamsey, has left many major water sources polluted, farmlands destroyed. This menace has left Ghana's ecological landscape on its feet, at the mercy of reclamation.
By poisoning the water sources, we are poisoning the entire farming area. We are spreading contaminants across.
Two communities in the eastern region, Paming and Jadam, have a long history of illegal small-scale mining. Reclamation efforts reached the enclaves, healing the soil on the surface for farmers to plant again. However, chemicals used for mining remained for years. Using standard laboratory methods, their findings reveal that just as nutrients, including fat and protein levels, were high, so were the toxins. Levels of heavy metals, including lead, exceeded safe limits in cassava grown on reclaimed mine lands.
So if somebody consumes it, that means they have the tendency to undergo oxidation, breaking apart to produce free radicals. These free radicals can cause cancer. They interact with human body. Some can even result in neuropathy diseases or neurodysfunctioning. Sometimes in the case of infants, you can talk about constipation, anemia, fatigue, and all these are symptoms that occur. And sometimes in the case of children, they can even have some mental issues.
At Paming, a middle-aged farmer, Samuel Kwabena Owusu, has been on his farm for 18 years, watching it reproduce abundant yield until galamsey emerged in the community.
At first, I didn't experience this. Now, I sometimes stop planting until after 5 months because if we rush, we may suffer from the chemicals they use. Before the galamsey, we produced a lot of cassava. We used to harvest big quantities, but now our harvests are small and we are witnessing the side effects in quality and quantity.
It was introduced with fanfare, celebrated as Ghana's bold step towards cutting carbon emissions. But 1 year after its passage, the emission levy disappeared, repealed quietly, almost silently, leaving behind more questions than answers. Now, new research suggests it may never have worked in the first place. Clean Air Beat reporter Michael Ashali has more.
The Health Effects Institute estimates that at least 32,000 people die every year in Ghana from exposure to fine particulate matter. The biggest sources of this toxic mix are burning and tailpipe emissions. By 2018, Accra's Central Business District alone was emitting more than 4 million tons of carbon dioxide.
Within a certain sector of the Accra space, especially towards the CBD.
Government's response was the emissions levy, but even as the levy took effect, skepticism followed quickly. Atmospheric scientist Dr. Daniel Westerveld, who has spent years tracking Ghana's pollution trends, set out to measure the levy's real impact during the single year it was in force.
We compared February 2024 through the rest of 2024 to previous years. There wasn't any statistically significant changes in PM 2.5 that could be attributed just to the emissions levy.
The repeal of the emissions levy ends a chapter, but not the crisis. Clean air advocates say a new conversation must begin, not about taxing emissions, but about actually reducing them. For Joy News, I am Michael Ashali. This story was a collaboration with New Narratives. Funding was provided by the Clean Air Fund, which had no say in the story's content.
Well, this is the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a break. We return with sports, where the group stage of AFCON 2025 concludes today with 3 places in the knockout stage up for grabs. We have details of that. Also coming up, Police Hospital urges families with missing relatives to help identify unknown patients currently in its care. And if you missed the 2025 Joy FM 90s Jam, here's what went down as we gear up for the 2026 edition this Friday.
Get ready to feel the rhythm. Get ready to relive the glory of the 90s. These are the classics. The decade that changed music is back. Joy FM 90s Jam is back. On Friday, 2nd January 2026, at Pleasant Gardens, Joe will rock your best 90s gear from ball game, Carl Conine, cross corners, FUBU, and many more. And let's hit the dance floor on the first official Jam of 2026. From the 90s hip-hop, R&B, hip life to high life, we shall drop your favorites. We shall drop the anthems. One night, one stage, one unforgettable vibe. Joy FM 90 Jam, Pleasant Gardens, 2nd January 2026. Tickets are on sale now. Dial *725*3404# to get yours. The Joy FM 90 Jam 2026 is powered by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, Ayuda app, Ghana's #1 services app, Barco Services Vibri. Live on 2 feminine watch. Stay fresh to impress. Day by day men, strong and refined. The skincare you deserve. Green, Walla Natural Mineral Water, a taste of life.
Jack was on his way home. Just another evening drive. Laureen was crossing the street. Just another walk to the shop. But in a split second, everything changed. One moment could save a life. Accidents keep rising and casualties keep climbing, leaving families in pain. Remember, avoid drinking and driving. Wear your seatbelts, helmets, and look both ways before crossing. Road safety is in your hands. The Road Safety Campaign is brought to you by Ayuda, Ghana's #1 services app. Barco Services Vibri. Universal Motors Limited. Driving trust, delivering excellence, and powered by Joy FM, Adum FM, Asempa FM, Hits FM, Joy News, and Joy Prime.
Welcome back to the Midday News. Time now for sports, and here's Achu Tamaklo.
Of the African Cup of Nations concludes today. Sudan will take on Botswana on New Year's Eve at the Mohammed V Stadium in what will be a clash for the second spot in Group E. Meanwhile, group winners Algeria will face Equatorial Guinea in what is essentially a dead rubber affair. Remember that both games will kick off at exactly 4 p.m. later today. In Group F, already eliminated Gabon will face defending champions Cote d'Ivoire, who need at least a draw to secure a place in the knockout stages of the competitions. Meanwhile, in the group's other game, both Cameroon and Mozambique have already qualified to the round of 16 and could rest players ahead of tonight's contest.
And that was Achu Tamaklo. Well, in less than 24 hours, the Kumasi Rotary Park will host the Love FM family party in the park. Families who took part in last year's edition are upbeat to join in the fun-filled moments. Here are some children who say they can't wait for the New Year family picnic.
Last year, I was part of the Love FM family party at the park. I enjoyed so many things. I got new friends and cope with so many people. And this year, I'm blessed to be part of it again. I thank you all. I hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Love FM family party. Mene mabusunya ebabi minya nkuta hu bebre minya namfofo a minimum ina ye namfofo ye te se enuanom nti afi pese obi ase obi amra na ye nkuta wodie bebre e ma mene mabusuafo na ba party na se ma ye nkuta wodie bebre nti afi pese obi ase obi a emra e ma ye ni age o afi a e ba be ye mu.
Well, DJ Black and the Dusty Nia Itego, Lexus Bill and more kept patrons of the 2025 Joy 90s Jam on their feet and fully energized for over 6 unforgettable hours. As we gear up for the 2026 edition of the 90s Jam on Friday, let's relive the excitement. Here's what you missed.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of people here are singing along to the old tunes back in the 90s, reliving the moment. Let's get into the crowd and speak to some of the people who are having a lot of fun here. Let's start. Okay. Okay. Hello, sir. You having fun?
Yeah, I'm having too much fun.
Yeah, I'm just doing yo. Maame Esi. We're too much for Ben. Chavi Betty. We're going to be the very bad. The Superman. Remember what I said more. What am I?
Mami boni chemi.
Obi di share.
Manora media. Uni media. Adia uye me do wa me siasia kuti.
Ida amenda.
I go guy I can't stand it.
Mention na.
E ma so me timi kata ka. Ti me ni e you go.
Chisawa.
They say reward the kwa.
Yeah, that is what I'm talking about. We're reliving all the fun here at the Pleasant Garden. Are you having fun?
Very much, too much.
What do you like about the 90s Jam?
Man, I'm out of work, man. Everything is crazy. Everything is crazy.
I see your baggy jeans.
Yeah, man.
Back to the day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You used to dance to them?
Yeah, a lot. Everybody in the place.
Did you hear that?
Everybody in the place right now. Everybody in the place right now. Hey, everybody in the place now. Stand up. Let me hear say oh. Say
say okay, let's listen to the crowd.
Say hey. Let's go. Second. Everybody, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, let's get closer to some of the people.
And that was Maxwell Agbagba in the 2025 Joy 90s Jam. And this Friday, it's happening live at the same venue, Pleasant Gardens in Jolu. Don't want to miss it this Friday. Do make a date. That's how we end this afternoon's bulletin here on Joy 99.7 FM.